Hi, Alessandra. Let's take a look at this set of essays that you've written. Let's get straight into it. Okay. Is this the English and Homestay? It looks like it is. All right, let's see what you did. Dear Mary, comma here. I hope this letter finds you well. This should be hope with an E. My name is Alessandra Palizzese. I am 30 years old and I am from Venezuela. I'm writing to you because your house was assigned to be my homestay for these 2 months that I will be in London. I'm so excited to stay with you since I have heard a lot of good and positive comments about yourself and your family. Okay, so Alessandra, have you ever met Mary before? No, you haven't. All you know is that she's going to be your homestay. So what I would recommend to you is treat this as a formal letter. All right. When we haven't met someone before, we shouldn't get a little too familiar. So let's try instead to use some of these conventions of formal letter writing. So what do I mean? I mean, no contractions, number one. It should all be written out and not so much of this personal language like I'm so excited. Okay? Also, we should try to use formal language with things like I would like, could you tell me, would it be possible to know, etc., etc. A lot of this more formal style language. All right? Also, my suggestion would be to refer to the person by their last name, so it would probably be Dear Mrs. Smith, something like that. Okay. Dear Mrs. Smith, I hope this letter finds you well. My name is Alessandra Palizzese. I am 30 years old and I am from Venezuela. I am writing you because your house was assigned to be my homestay for the 2 months that I will be in London. I am very pleased to be staying with you since I don't know about this. I'm very pleased. Yeah, see, I'm very pleased sounds a little less personal than I am so excited. So that's why I'm suggesting that. So I'm very pleased to be staying with you as I have heard many wonderful things about your family. Okay? This is my first time in London. Okay, again, I'm really nervous. It's nice. I'm not saying that it's not nice, and I'm not saying it's not accurate, but because it's a formal letter, I would advise you to be also a little less personal in some of the things that you write. So, since this is my first time in London, and I am confident it will be a good experience. Or even better, you see, there's some words in IELTS that I don't really like to see, like good, bad, big, small. So if you can avoid them, please do, like a good experience. What else could you say instead of good? Here, a lot of good and positive comments. What else could you have said? What other kinds of comments could you have heard about her? Okay? So let's change this around. This is my first time in London. And I am confident it will be an overall positive experience, or it will be a wonderful learning experience. That's another way to say it, which is nice. As this is my first time there, you already said that though. So let's get rid of this entirely and say something else. In light of my upcoming trip, I would like to ask you some basic details that I should know when I land at the airport. First of all, now this is a direct question, and this is exactly what I mean. We don't ask direct questions in formal letters. We try to make it as indirect as possible because that's how we show that we're being polite. So, this is basically not really considered terribly polite in English. So instead, let's say, first of all, could you make a suggestion on how I should arrive to your house from the airport? Okay, so you see it's much less direct, and then it's almost like the person will then suggest, oh, I'd be happy to pick you up. Okay, so this is one of the things that you could do, rather than saying, are you going to pick me up? If, okay, so then let's remove this. If you really want to ask if she can pick you up at the airport, then there's a way to do that which is also more polite. So, first of all, would it be possible for you to pick me up at the airport? Okay, it's still polite. If not, capital I, okay, because it's a new sentence. Get rid of this comma. If not, could you tell me what the least expensive way to get to your home is? Okay, you have to use an indirect question form where the verb comes at the end like a regular sentence and not like a question, okay? And rather than cheapest, which doesn't really feel terribly formal, I've selected least expensive. I know there are different types of ground transportation from the airport, but I do not know the details. Therefore, if you could please provide me this information as soon as possible, I would appreciate it, because you have an if statement. So the if statement has to be followed with a solution, a consequence. Okay. It is important for me to hear from you soon. In response to my letter, because my flight is scheduled to arrive in London on the 31st of this month at 6 o'clock. Full stop. Okay, let's change this to, you don't want to pressure the woman, so let's say instead, I look forward to hearing from you very soon, as my flight or as my departure is arriving shortly. Okay, doesn't that sound much more formal and much more polite? Specifically, my flight is scheduled to arrive in London, etc., etc. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Yours sincerely. All right, first of all, full stop, comma. Okay, so yes to the development. Okay, you answered all the questions, you did all of that appropriately, but there are a lot of areas that you need to work on in terms of formal language, in terms of punctuation, in terms of grammar. Okay? Now let's take a look at this. I think this is international marketing. Yes, it is. Fantastic. All right. Nowadays, changes related to different subjects all over the world are making us expand our mind, even though it's two words. Some of us agree with some of them. International marketing is one of the matters that concerns us when the other country's advertising in ours, and how they do it can be very controversial for some societies. Yes, okay, it can be, but the question is, you're supposed to discuss both views and give your opinion. Where is your opinion? I want to know if you are in favor of it or if you are against it, okay? It asks you very specifically, so make sure you do that in your introduction. Okay, this is interesting. You've got this itty-bitty paragraph here. It's the same size as your introduction, which leads me to decide to pretty much assume right away that you haven't developed this enough. On the contrary, you've developed this really quite a bit. So that's going to be a problem, okay? I can tell you right now this is underdeveloped. Let's look at what you wrote. People can disagree with international marketing, and I think the main reason can be that not all societies are the same in terms of culture, religion, and some other factors that can make one advertising very popular and good in one country and all the opposite in another. One word, another. This is because marketing has to be carefully implemented and it has to be personalized according to the public we are referring to. Great. Where are your examples? Okay, so what you said is accurate and it's good. It shows an understanding of what international marketing is, but you have to back it up with examples, and you have to support it, and you have to use proper paragraph structure. So what you really needed to do here is just with each sentence where you gave some sort of an idea, you have to back it up with an illustration, an explanation, an example. Okay? So here, this is because marketing has to be carefully implemented, it has to be personalized according to the public we're referring to. And then you could say here, for example, if we were going to sell Coca-Cola in Saudi Arabia, the content of an advertisement could clearly not be the same as if we were selling it to a market in Brazil. Okay? The language has to change, the actors have to change, their dress has to change. So these are all concerns, and even the language of the advertisement would have to change. Not just the actual language itself, but even the message conveyed. Okay? So this is the kind of thing that you have to supply in this paragraph. On the other hand, not in. And remember something else. When we say on the other hand, it means that we have to have said on the one hand, and you didn't here. So if you want to show contrast, you don't have to do this. You could say, despite what has been said, okay, or that said, That also works. All right, let's move on. So, that having been said, if ads are not harmful for anyone, I think they help people to grow. I worked in a multinational company that produces and distributes alcoholic beverage, and of course it has to promote its brands. I remember that we received all the campaigns from our headquarters in London, and we could not modify them. You have to write full words out. After many failed campaigns, we decided to make a survey to evaluate what was going on, and some of the findings were that most people did not understand the advertising, and they did not feel interested in watching for more or curious about it. We decided to personalize, no D, every campaign with the reality of our country, working with the team based in London. Explaining and brainstorming with a team composed with different cultures was the best. We shared a lot of experiences, ideas, and even culture. For example, sometimes when we were discussing some themes, Arabic or Chinese colleagues gave us the advice C, not S, or that some information or images could be taken the wrong way by their culture or considered offensive. Wow, great. This is great, okay? What you did here is you made it, okay, great. You had personal information to refer to, but you really extended it, and you showed me that you learned about culture, you learned about language, and that it was a real growth experience for you. Now, you didn't talk about how it's a necessary and economical form of education, but I almost don't mind, okay? So what I would have really liked was for you to have done something similar up here, talking about how some people might dislike this kind of advertising and why they might feel it's an invasion. Think about how like a local cola producer might really resent the entrance of Coca-Cola into their market. Okay, that's one thing you could think about. So that's just an idea that you could explore. But this absolutely needed more development here. The other paragraph, though, was really well done, and I have to say that it's not very often that people understand what international marketing is. Clearly, you have experience with it, and you understood it. Okay, to conclude, while you do... Okay, we don't say a good research, we just say good research. So while you do good research of the country you want to go into and respect different cultures, you can implement a very good marketing campaign without being offensive, and it will help communities to grow, to expand their knowledge, and to be curious about the new. Sooner or later, international marketing will help us to develop ourselves in a very positive way. All right, I liked it. It was good. I really, really like this paragraph. You can see that I fixed some of the grammar, fixed some of the words and so forth, but it was well developed, and for me that was really important. You just have to do something similar here, okay? Go ahead and correct these essays, send them back to us corrected, add them to your error correction list. Let's see more essays from you. Try to do them the next day or so, all right? Good job, and I'll wait for your next essays.